Couch Detectives. Welcome to Murder, She Watched. My name is Amy Archer. I'm your host. I'm here today with murder show enthusiast Kyla.
Yes.
Hi.
Hello, everybody.
You probably heard us in part one of this. This is part two. So if you did not listen to part one of Capturing Their Killer, The Girls on the High Bridge, go back and listen to part one.
Yes.
Because this is our part two, and we are going to pick up on the documentary in episode 3.
Yes.
All right, so let me get to my notes for episode 3. Here we go.
Same.
Oh my God, I have 5 pages of notes just for episode 3.
Oh, I know, right? Isn't
Okay.
it so funny? I do too. I was like just flying. Episode 3 was a banger. I mean,
It was. So this is where we get into the meat and potatoes of the case.
I would agree
where
completely.
we get into what do they have on Richard Allen?
Mm-hmm.
What is going to happen in the trial? What is the defense's strategy? Et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So Andy and Brad are getting ready for trial. It's April 2023. And Andy says, I had a breakthrough one Saturday morning. I don't know if he was going through discovery or what he was doing, but he finds a 12-page report that is called the Odin report.
The infamous Odin report.
Which you went down a rabbit hole about. I'm going to have you tell us a little bit about what Odin is. Okay,
Yeah.
So just real quick. He says there's evidence of a highly unusual pagan Norse religion that might be connected to the crime scene, the way things were placed, etc. And we hear from Dawn, who is a ritual crime expert. She's called in to consult with the defense. She says the bodies were positioned in an intentional way. There appeared to be a symbol on the tree, and the way the branches were placed over the bodies.
Yes.
So this is the group Odin. They are present in Delphi, and they believe in pre-Christian religions like Norse and Germanic.
This was fascinating.
Dawn says the placement of the sticks, was important, and we get a primer on what it means to be ritualistic. And of course, Kyla, it's young white men doing this in Midwest industrial towns.
Yep.
And they hold up Odin as a symbol of class rage.
When they said that, I was like, well, isn't that just some shit, right?
So is there anything that I've missed kind of about an Odin overview?
No, you did. That pretty much hit it on the head. When I was reading about it last night, there's a lot of people who want to make sure that people know there's divisions of this. Some of it more associated with what they were calling heathenry, and some of it more because as with all things like this, there's a group of white supremacy that has branched out, and that is what the focus has come into. And it's your classic thing with stuff like this. When you read about it, it was nothing that stood out. It was just angry white men feeling oppressed. I mean,
okay. Yeah,
that's basically what it is. But
I mean, cut and paste.
That's what I mean. I was like, oh, so it's just another one of these. It's just another spin on that, basically.
So there's 2 suspects that emerge.
This was one of the most fascinating parts to me.
Yeah.
These guys.
Brad Holder is the first, okay? And he says, they say he was already on police radar because he was friends with Abby. And he was an Odinist. And he posted some weird shit on Facebook. Like,
that picture.
Okay. What he posted, though, the meme that says friends help friends move dead bodies, we've all posted that kind of stuff.
100%. I think I've shared something about that in the Couch Detectives group before.
Yeah, I say all the time, like, if I kill someone, my mom is going to help me get rid of this.
Same.
I'm joking.
Yeah, like I always say, my mom and my aunt. I know they would help me.
Yes.
But I'm joking.
Yes, of course. Well, kind of.
I mean,
until the rubber meets the road. So exactly. he was hanging out in the woods, arranging twigs in a pattern, taking pictures of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He posted a bunch of incriminating shit. Okay. He would do rituals with Patrick Westfall. They were vets who served together in Afghanistan.
Yes. That was very interesting, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. And I thank them for their service.
Yes.
So we get an interview with Patrick, and he's like, okay, this was a little too much, Patrick. He's like, we just love nature.
We love the trees.
Nothing to do with violence. We love trees. We love
we're
nature. We
offering
love
the
getting out in
trees.
there. We're just a bunch of nature-loving, really angry white men.
Yes.
We haven't done anything.
No, there's no violence. He said there's no violence a lot.
Yeah. So Mike says, we investigated them thoroughly, and Brad Holder had a really strong alibi. Now, Brad Holder does come into this, but they don't talk about that here.
Yes, I know. Again,
which was
left out.
Wild.
Yes.
So Brad Holder had a really strong alibi. He was at work. He had a time card, and people saw him there. So because of the snap and the bridge guy, they know that the murder happened at, I think it's like 2:13 or 2:14.
Yeah, 2:13.
They know.
Around that time.
Yes. So it happened after that. Brad clocked out of work at like 2:05 and was home. It took him 25 minutes to get home. He worked at like a Subaru dealership. He pulled in at like 2:25, something like that.
Yeah.
So he could not have been on the bridge walking when he's driving home from work.
There just simply wasn't enough time.
No. So Dawn says police departments are not really trained on these ritualistic murders. You know,
Yeah.
You have to bring in people like me. And let me be very clear. Are there ritualistic murders? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
We grew up during the same satanic panic.
I was just going to say, this had so much satanic panic energy to it.
But this did not happen in this case. Okay, I'm just going to say
I just don't think it did either. I'm sorry for those that I just don't think so. Those stick arrangements, I don't know. I don't know.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
So the defense argues there was so much evidence on third-party suspects. We're ready for battle. We're going into this. So they decide they want to get this evidence in. So they start preparing to present it to the court, and they file a 136-page motion.
This
and
motion.
Alice and Brett from the Prosecutors podcast say this read like a novel of these
the
two
table of
young girls
contents?
being sacrificed.
It was. Do you? Oh, so I don't know if you know when this came out on the news. Do you remember when this came out?
So here's my question for you.
And
we are not lawyers and we are not detectives in any way. I have 3 English degrees.
Yeah, I can help you with wounds.
Yes. So when you file a motion like this, is it automatically public?
So I think it's state by state, from my understanding, like the public record, because, that's part of why Florida stuff gets so much attention, because I think, what's it called?
FOIA?
It has to do with FOIA, but Florida has a specific thing where it's like, this is part of why the Casey Anthony case got so big, because it's like the next day you have access to that information, like, because her jail calls were getting released like in relatively real time. And so I think state by state it's different. And in Indiana, we have a fairly transparent like public record system. We have the My Case website where you can look up anybody and see what they've been in trouble for. That's always fun. But I'm not sure. I don't know, but it was released, and I remember it being on Reddit because people were up in arms about it. It was like,
and what's terrible about it is that they're naming these people as potential killers,
and just saying it out there, like when Patrick is saying, like, this essentially ruined my life. Like, how could it not?
Yeah, Patrick is like, this really sucked, and the defense is like, well, sucks to be you. We had to do our job. What do you want?
Brad Rossi, he's like, no, yeah. What do you do? Brad Rossi. I don't know.
It's a problem. You can't act like this. You have to be careful, especially in today's day and age.
Yes. And doxing people is such a thing. And like just putting it all out there, accusing people of being child killers. Like you can't just like.
But you're not accusing them of like, I don't know, stealing a car. You're accusing them of brutally murdering 2 young women.
And and you're just putting it out there. Like, I don't know if any, I wonder if any litigation. I don't know how that works. Like,
I don't know.
Yeah.
So Nick McLeland is the prosecutor, and Betty and Mike Patty. They say Nick gave up a lot for this case. It took a lot, and we were nervous that he was young and he was a little green.
Their honesty about that.
Yeah. And Mike was like, I told him, like, I'm going to beat you down if this doesn't work.
I'll come for you.
Yeah. The judge rules that the defense will not be allowed to bring in third-party suspects.
Yep. Yep. That was a huge thing.
So this is interesting because I'm so fascinated in how law works, and like so
Right.
to see the defense say, because I'm thinking to myself, what if they were not allowed to present alternate theories in Karen Reed's case?
Absolutely.
Like,
right?
so-
It's like case by case. And it
Yeah,
depends on the
it's-
case, right? And I don't know if you do this, but like when I'm like consuming crime media and I'm like, well, yeah, they shouldn't have that. But then in this case, I'm like, oh, come on. Why couldn't they have
Yeah.
that?
Oh,
and I'm
yeah.
like,
All
oh,
the time.
God, I'm
Yep.
being so biased.
All the time. And the judge is pissed. And Nick says, I
Yeah.
think the judge was mad that Brad says, I think the judge was pissed that we made this all public. Yeah.
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 It was so unprofessional. It was so
And
unprofessional.
Andy says, all I know is the judge stripped Richard Allen of the right to defend himself, the ability
was-
to defend himself.
when they were like, they were kind of like, well, we just didn't really know what to do after that then.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they were just like, there goes our plan.
Well, so they decide they have to shift their focus from presenting an alternate suspect to creating reasonable doubt.
Yeah.
And that is like the onus of the case is on the prosecutor. They have to meet the bar of
The burden of proof.
The burden of proof.
Yeah.
The defense doesn't have to. They just have to create reasonable doubt. So
just get to poke
I think
holes.
it puts a lot, like Karen Reed's lawyers talk about this a lot. Like Alan Jackson talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot on them because they had to present an alternate theory. So they had to
Yes.
build a whole other case.
Absolutely.
Against other people. So that's
Exactly.
a lot more work for the defense. It's a heavier lift.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's really good.
So I think, just creating reasonable doubt if you can, which I think they could have in this case.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
they tried, but unfortunately, Richard Allen didn't help himself at all.
That's the absolutely. There's Richard that they could not control. Ricky.
So the trial begins, and Anna and Carrie, the girls' mothers, they say they really struggled with their mental health around this trial. And Anna says something that's kind of so beautiful. She says, time moved quickly and slowly all at once.
It would be like an out of body, I feel like. I don't
Yeah.
know. I feel like you would just be watching yourself go through those motions. I don't know how you would do it, like waking up in the morning to go do that. The respect I have for them is,
Yeah, me too.
ugh.
So we learn the town is divided. It's a controversial case. Betty says, we were concerned because Nick was young. I already covered that.
Yes.
The judge declined to televise the trial, and I think this was a huge mistake.
Yes, and people were irate about this. Irate. And I do think that was a disservice.
So only 24 people were allowed in, and people were showing up from all over the country and holding their places in line.
And people to sit in
Yep.
line for them and
Yep.
everything.
Yep. And because of that inability to see what was going on, the lack of transparency, a lot of people didn't see the real evidence.
Which is the problem, right?
And I think that's where the conspiracy theories came.
Yes, because we were all relying on reporters.
Yeah.
And, it was just, and 24 is not that much. Like when you really think about it, that's like
No.
a class.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Okay, so here are some key points by the prosecution. The timeline. It was Richard Allen on the trail that day by his own admission at the time of the murders. The crime happened between 2:13 and 4 p.m., and he said he was there from 1:30 to 3:30. Now, that is what he initially said.
Yes.
Later, he changed it and said it was noon to 1:30. He said he went to his parents' house on his way home, buys a six-pack,
Yep.
cracks open 3 beers by noon,
By noon. I know.
and then goes to the trail to walk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, is
and
this
then
something
has
he
to
did
leave.
regularly? That was something I would like to know. Like, is this for Kathy? This would be if I had a question, I got to ask Kathy questions. I'd be like, is this something he did regularly?
Regularly,
Like,
right.
Go get some beers and walk the trail? Like,
So,
I don't know.
I think it has come out that he has struggled with alcohol in the past. So I wonder if he was kind of going through something, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I should say, I wonder if Kathy thought he's going through something and whatever.
Yeah.
I also want to know how long is this trail? Do we know how long it would take them to get to the bridge? How long is the
the overview map, it's
501?
long. Because a lot of it, I remember finally seeing the bridge and thinking it was way longer than I really expected it to be.
Okay. It's a 1.5 mile rail trail.
Okay.
So let's say you're taking a slow pace. Mm-hmm. Okay, now is it 1.5 miles out and back? Let me see. Okay, at a relaxed pace, it is 10-minute walk from Freedom Bridge parking lot to the trailhead. So, yeah. So my point is, it's not like it's going to take you all day to get out there.
Right. It's not like he's out on a hike where he's
right
deep in the trails.
So what are you doing? Like, what are you doing?
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know. And and I know there's the unseasonably warm day, lots of people out and about, but I don't know.
So, defense says the original officer, the natural resource person that he met with in that parking lot, did not write down the details of the initial interview. So we're just going on his say-so.
Yeah.
Prosecution says we saw his car during the 1:30 to 3:30 video on CCTV. Defense says CCTV is not clear enough and they leave it at that. There's a lot more evidence than that. He had a very specific car. They saw it in other videos.
The hardware store parking lot video. I mean, there's so much. Yes, they're leaving a lot out about the car.
The bullet. They linked the bullet they found on the ground by the crime scene to Richard Allen's gun. So this was, I will give them this was the only physical evidence.
Right.
We didn't have DNA. We didn't have fingerprints. We didn't have anything. Which, again, why? Why didn't we have anything?
I feel like, I don't know, because this has to go into the bad investigation. I feel bad saying that, but I don't know. It's just, because the murder weapon has never been recovered, correct?
Correct.
And I would be really intrigued to know just an inventory. I would like to read through the discovery of this case sometime.
Yeah. So, and we'll talk about the murder weapon when we talk at the end about the extraneous things that we have found.
Yeah.
So the defense, this is where they're kind of like, the failure rate for this science is 2%. Like, they're trying to put doubt in our minds about the science. Okay. The confession. Richard Allen says he did it.
A lot. Multiple times.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, it's like in the double digits how many times he's confessed to this. It's not just he said it here and there a couple times.
On day 11, the lead psychologist, Dr. Monica Walla, testifies that she heard a number of confessions from him, including a timeline, and there were details in this. He says he stopped to get a six-pack, he drank 3, he hit the trails, he saw the girls, he took them down the hill. His intention was sexual, but he saw a van arrive and got startled and decided to move and then kill them.
Yes.
Defense says 98% of these things were generic confessions when he was suffering from psychosis. They also say Dr. Walla was a true crime fan and used her work computer to research the case, finding information from law enforcement that she could have planted in this confession.
That was not... When I found out... Oh, I was like, on your work computer,
Monica, come on.
Monica.
I mean, you're one of us. We're one of you. We get it. We see you. We see you. Yes.
It's not your work computer.
So defense says Richard Allen was in really bad shape and was losing touch with reality when he confessed.
Well.
So Nick in his closing argument says, Libby wanted to work in law enforcement, and in that video, she captured her own murderer.
Oh, yeah.
I know. I'm telling you, this documentary wrecked me.
It's such a feeling about this because it just hits so close to home for everybody.
And a 14-year-old girl should not have to capture her own murderer.
100%.
Like, she should be like doing sleepovers and bad karaoke.
Exactly.
And getting hopped up on sugar.
Exactly. And just out playing around, taking pictures with her friend like she was doing.
She should be running around vaping like my girls.
Exactly.
She should be living her best life. So on November 11th, 2024, the verdict comes back and he is found guilty and he gets 130 years in prison.
Yep.
The families believe the decision was the right one. There are people who believe they got it wrong. The defense is ready to appeal. So there is a memorial for Abby and Libby. It is a park. It is a memorial. Abby's mom says, you think hearing guilty and the sentencing will be enough, but it's not. It's the town has changed. People lock their doors. They're more skeptical. Hayden is Libby's little sister. And she says, all I can do with my life is to live in a way that Libby can't.
Yeah.
And I just wrote these poor girls. Oh my God. And that's the end.
Yeah. It was so, that was the first time I had ever seen Hayden on anything.
Is that her name? Did I call her Haiti or no? I called her.
No, you said Hayden. Yeah,
not Haiti. Haley. I thought I said Haley. She's not Haiti.
I've never seen her speak or be interviewed on anything before. That was first.
So, Kyla, at the end of every Murder She Watched episode, we have to talk about, first I have to give my Jinx rating, and then we have to talk about whether or not we solved the murder. Okay, so my Jinx rating for this documentary actually is a 4 Durst out of 5.
I would wholeheartedly agree with that.
Because here's why. There was a lot of missing information. Okay, but when I rate these documentaries, I rate them on the documentary itself.
Right.
I thought it was well done.
It was.
I thought we got a lot of information if you were just a first-time person with the case. I thought that it was the appropriate length.
I was not bored ever watching it.
I was not bored. I thought that they really spent enough time. I wish they spent a little more, but enough time showing us who Abby and Libby were.
Yes. Yeah.
That is one of my standards for documentaries. Do you spend enough time honoring the victims?
Yes.
And I do felt like they did.
They did. And like you said, your mom said, if people are going to share their stories, I should watch it. That resonated with me, and that's so accurate. Like,
my mom comes out with the banger once in a while.
Look at her go. She needs to write she needs a calendar, like a life calendar.
But I really do think that this is a 4 out of 5. Okay, so that's where we're going to put this. Okay, so let me ask you, did he do it? What are your thoughts?
So initially when this came out, I was very unsure like you were, just because, like they said in the documentary, Richard Allen came out of nowhere. He was not on the radar. For those of us that had been reading about this case for years, he was never a name. That really did come out of left field. So I was kind of shell-shocked, but I do think he did it. I do. I think there's a lot of compelling evidence for it. Again, not discussed in the documentary at all. And there's just so many things placing him there. And the confessions. They tried to be so dismissive about the confessions in this documentary, but when you really start looking into those, they're consistent. And I feel in some ways, which, I don't know, not hot take necessarily, his wife, I feel like he's almost like recanting because he doesn't want to hurt her. Like, because she's like, no, you didn't. And I just feel like that there's so much there.
So I spent a lot of time yesterday listening to, I will put the link to the episode I'm referring to in the show notes. Let me make a note to do that. So the Murder Sheet came out with an episode where they said, we're just going to go through the evidence. Like, here's the evidence. And they did that after the trial was over and all of the evidence was public.
Yeah.
So Tom Webster actually is the one who did a FOIA and got all of this information, and he shared it with them. Yeah. So they had full confessions. They had all the police interviews. It was really fascinating, and they play it and they break it down. It's a really thorough look at this. I spent the whole day yesterday listening to conversations between Richard Allen and his wife and his mother.
The mother, which she was not mentioned in this at all, or his sister.
Yeah.
Who is also was interviewed.
That's one thing too. Like, if I were to ding this documentary down to a 3, it would be because it obviously had a slant.
Big time. It was very biased.
But see, now I'm torn. Now I might change my rating. Do I go to a 3?
Because the bias thing is tricky, but it was a really compelling documentary.
It was, and
It's just interesting, which,
You know what? I'm going to split the difference, and I'm going to go with 3.5 Dursts.
I think that's fair because it's so biased.
It's pretty biased.
I mean,
So,
it's impossible to be unbiased, but it's kind of obvious.
one of the things I want to talk about around the confessions, okay, is when you listen to him. So the defense is arguing that he made these confessions under duress when he was, really deteriorating mentally.
Yes.
Okay. The man in those phone calls is not under duress.
No.
He's clear.
fine.
He
Yes.
is focused. He doesn't say anything bizarre.
No, and
He
Kathy
says-
says he
Go
sounds
ahead,
like
I'm
a
sorry.
robot. Sorry. She says he sounds like a robot, but he doesn't. He sounds like he does during the initial interrogations. He sounds like him.
And one of the things that they don't talk about in the documentaries, he found God in prison. And a lot of his confessions came afterwards because he said he wanted forgiveness.
Yes.
So he's calling Kathy and he's basically saying, I did it. I'm telling you I did it. And she's saying, no, you didn't.
you sure didn't.
She's not accepting it. And he keeps saying to her, will you love me? Will you still love me? Because I
Yeah.
did this. And
Yeah.
I think if she said, of course, I still love you 100%, he would have gotten into more detail or whatever. But
She wasn't in a place where she was even close to accepting hearing that.
And at one point, and this happens several times, guys, and at one point, he even has Dr. Monica Walla with him. And he's like, I have somebody here because he needed help to get through to Kathy.
Yes.
Because she was not accepting it.
Yes, I totally agree with you. I feel like it's kind of like an elephant in the room almost, where it's like, Kathy, girl, I feel for her. Of course, I feel for her. My
Sure.
God, I can't even imagine. Like,
Yeah.
that's a living hell.
Yeah.
But, like, he is telling her, I would love to know if Kathy is being therapized and, like, who's in Kathy's corner, who's talking to her, like, who are the influences in her life. Like,
Yeah.
does she have a friend that's like, okay, you know what I mean? It's just, it's sad.
I know.
It's sad.
So that is number one. Okay.
Yeah.
Is the confession there's a lot more to those confessions.
Yes.
And the confessions never came as the result of like he's being interrogated for 24 hours and then he said
Yes.
like he was in his own cell and he was like, okay, I did this.
Yes, it's not. They keep talking about there's no duress. There's really not. Like,
No.
Ugh.
So another thing for me, and you please correct me if I get this wrong, but this was probably the biggest thing for me, is in the confession, he gave and provided information that only the killer would know, and it is this, okay? So he says that he intended to rape these girls, and that he was interrupted by a white van that scared him, and that made him think, okay, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And it turns out that the white van was driven by, what's his name? Brad Holder.
Like, poof.
So Brad Holder lives in a property that is connected to this place.
Yeah.
And there have been videos, you can find them online, where people have walked this bridge and they show you how you can see the van.
Yeah.
Brad Holder drove that van to his Subaru job that day and drove it home. And we know from his time clock punch out
Yeah.
that he would have been arriving home approximately 2:25, 2:30, the exact time that it lines up with when he would have been spooked murdering these girls.
That is just like insane, right? Mm-hmm. That those two things,
That white van was not public knowledge.
No, it wasn't. And
So there we go.
there was I forget what the other things were he mentioned that were not public knowledge. But I mean, it was a lot, guys.
Well,
It was
and
a
what the
lot.
defense tried to do is they tried to say, well, Dr. Monica Walla researched this case and had access to police files and knew about this.
And
There is
yeah.
no evidence. And they backed off of that in court because there was no evidence that she
then
did that.
Exactly. Then they were like, well, she was in Facebook groups about the crime. Well,
That doesn't.
no.
No. Okay. My final piece of evidence that really turned me was, and again, I went into this not knowing if he was guilty or innocent. So he, by his own admission, says that he saw 3 other girls on the trail. He
Yep.
never says he saw Libby and Abby, but he says, I saw this group of 3 young women, whatever.
Yep.
Okay. These 3 women were interviewed at the
Yes.
time this happened, and they all said they saw Bridge Guy.
Yes. Not a lick of that in this documentary.
They
but yeah.
never said they saw another guy.
Yep.
So that
Yep.
means Richard Allen is dressed as Bridge Guy, is
Yeah.
on the bridge or on the trail, sees these 3 women. They see him by his own admission.
Yep.
But when you talk to the girls, they only saw Bridge Guy. So that means he is Bridge Guy.
And I don't remember if it's those 3 women or another witness where people reported seeing Bridge Guy looking muddied and like
Yes,
a battered.
yes,
There's
yes.
no mention of that either. There were eyewitnesses to that.
Yeah. Another thing is they think that it was a box cutter that was used in the murders. And he confessed that. He said,
Yes.
I used a box cutter. Now, this is interesting because when I listened to that interview with the forensic pathologist, the 2 minutes he talked about this case was this. He said, I could not figure out what the murder weapon was because the wounds were not deep enough to be a knife.
Yes.
But it was definitely something with a serrated edge.
yes, because he said he could tell it was something serrated.
Yeah. So he was like, one day I was in my garage and I was cleaning up and I came across my box cutter and I was like, oh my God,
This is it.
this could be the weapon.
Yeah.
So
Which would make sense.
He reports that, right? And then
Yep.
he says, I was as stunned as anyone when I learned in the courtroom that Richard Allen had said in one of his confessions, I used a box cutter.
Yes. Can you imagine? It's just crazy. And that's why, which I know there's been so many documentaries about this already, but part of me hopes now that the trial's over, they'll do another one that is more inclusive, I guess, if you will, about all information, because there's just so much left to talk about with this.
Yeah. I 100% think the right man is in prison.
I do too.
Yeah. I think we solved it here. I think he's the murderer.
I agree. And I can say that confidently. There's a lot of current cases where I don't know that I could say it confidently, but this one I can.
Like some of the times I'm like, I could put the guy in jail, but I couldn't sentence him to death. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
This guy, I have no I'm not for the death penalty, so I wouldn't want to sentence anyone to death.
Right.
But this guy could 100% say he is where he belongs.
Yeah. No, there's people, which I know you're on your Michael Peterson journey right now.
Oh boy.
I flip-flop on Michael Peterson like crazy.
Be careful, don't spoil me.
I won't.
Okay.
I won't. But that's all I'll
right.
tell you. That doesn't spoil things.
I am on a Michael Peterson journey, and I do flip-flop though. I do.
I flip-flop. And how much do you hate the word blowpoke right now?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
David doing his little blowpoke recreation.
Oh my
in
God, I
court.
love David. I love David so much.
Guys, if you want to hear Becca and I do the staircase on Patreon, it starts tomorrow.
I'm so excited.
It's
to
on the
listen to it in
$10
morning.
tier of Patreon. We're going to drop 2 episodes a week. Now, I will admit, looking back, the first 2 episodes, I didn't really have a sense of who these characters were. I really found my
didn't
Michael
know
Peterson
Michael
impression
yet.
and
Yeah.
stuff in episode 3. So hang in.
I love all the characters are just so. I mean, there's so much there. But yeah. And the Making a Murderer guy, Stephen Avery, that's another one I have flip-flopped on quite a bit. But
Yeah. All right, Kyla, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
And I want to thank everyone who has joined Murder Club.
Yeah.
If you join at the $5 level, you get everything ad-free. But if you join at the $10 level, you're going to get those staircase episodes. So I hope that you guys will join us because Becca and I are really going through it together over there.
It's a journey.
It's a journey. Kyla, I hope you will join me again.
Oh, anytime, girl, anytime.
You've been great. All right,
Thank you
guys.
very much.
Thank you so much. If you'd like to support the show, like I said, you could join our Patreon, but you can also leave us a 5-star review. So if you could do that, we would really appreciate it. And tell a friend who likes murder shows.
Yes.
Let them know.
Spread the
We're
love.
talking about it over here.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.